goal is to bring you your next favorite band.
Sweet, that intro is my new favorite band. That's phenomenal. I'm so excited to be on.
Yeah. I heard a rumor that you might be able to play that song live today.
You heard correctly. Yes.
Excellent. So,
good enough for rock.
I don't know when I rock out here on your next favorite band and show.
and listen, it's going to be everybody's favorite band.
Phil, you weren't supposed to make me get all... God almighty,
But this
Phil.
is why we do it.
Like, seriously. I gotta gather myself. All right, go ahead.
Okay.
Welcome to your next favorite band. That's both the show title and our promise to you. We here at Stereophilia Studio are tireless in our pursuit of finding incredible, genre-defiant artists who are either a hot up-and-coming band or a group that has been delivering for years but have flown under the radar.
Tonight we have some alt rock that will provoke your mind and pull at your heart from Grand Rapids, Michigan, the American Hotel System.
Each month, we will bring you live streams, audio podcasts, and perhaps even a live concert where you can listen to the stories and hear the music of artists personally curated by us based on what we feel will be worthy of your time. Be sure to subscribe and tune in to each episode because the possibilities are endless and you never know who will be your next favorite band.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I am your host, Philip Reese.
Hello, and I'm your co-host, David Moore.
And you are listening to...
Your next favorite band.
And tonight we have David's favorite band from Musikfest last year.
No, one of my picks. They were definitely one of my top picks for
Yeah.
the whole of the fest, for sure.
Yeah.
It was when we were sort of weeding through several hundred scheduled performances.
Correct.
There has to be, I've used the term, I think you've used it, is this bubble up factor
Sure.
that happens when all of that's happening. And this for me was a band that just sort of parked itself in my ears. And I saw them, they played 3 performances last year at Musikfest. I saw 2 of them. They did one of them. I saw their sort of quieter acoustic set and then their full on end of the night run around in the crowd set.
Yes. That is all accurate. And what I love too, and so as I kind of echo your sentiment, I'm actually going to bring up, because David did some great work on our nextfaveband.com website. We actually already have the Musikfest 2024 site up. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is what you were just talking about. The playlists is on the right side of the screen there. Spotify and Apple Music versions this year. It's all of the free stage bands. And that was what you're talking about that you were listening to, and their music kept bubbling up as we've tried to share. And what I love is when that happens. So like you have someone bubble up, they're on your kind of must-see list, you go to the festival, and they deliver. Like I just love that, and it's better than you had even expected.
Yeah, it's great when you're like, okay, great. There's this song that I really like, or a couple songs that I'm really starting, or you get past the stuff that's on the playlist, and then you show up, and you're like, fingers crossed. Then you're like, it paid off,
right? Yeah, because it doesn't always. We're not going to name names, but
well, I mean, the reality of it is there's a lot of conditions happening there. There's hundreds of bands and everything like that. So, but the reality of it is yes, it's great when it all comes together.
And my favorite one that didn't pay off was wasn't the band's fault. It was the playlist had the wrong muckers. There was a band called the Muckers. And so now it's become David and I's like running joke where like you're saying you got the wrong muckers. Yeah,
you got the wrong muckers.
And I've been guilty of it each year. Like you go in and you see 3 versions of the same band name, and you do your best trying to pick which one must be the right one, and it doesn't always happen that way. So walked up to a stage expecting this one sound, and there was this completely other sound, which was still great, but it wasn't what I was expecting. So I
still think
away.
Both muckers would be great performing together.
Yes, or like as a mucker off. Like they can,
yeah, the winner keeps the name.
Yeah, and then the other one has to get a new name. But there's definitely no finding the wrong band name for tonight's guest.
No, that it is distinct and it is clear.
And it's definitely won the American Hotel System.
Yeah, it feels like it should have like registered trademark at the end of that because of the way that it sounds sometimes. But it's great. It's actually a really good band name in the sense that it's long. That's not always a bad thing. It's very like easy to understand. You don't mess the words up. It's not one of those ones where you're like, you said what kind of things where somebody
Yes.
made up something.
Yeah.
See the Muckers from
correct.
before.
Yes, and so I can't wait to see the real Muckers, the right Muckers. But anyway, one quick promotional note. I want to remind people on Sunday, June the 9th, your next favorite band is actually starting to bring music discovery to the stage. We were asked by our local listening room venue, Godfrey Daniels, to put together a lineup, and we're really honored to bring together Shug Daniels. We interviewed her last summer, and her music is wonderful, and she keeps releasing more and more great stuff out of Philadelphia. And then Roy and the Secret People, who's normally like a powerhouse rock show. They do an acoustic trio of their music, and it's wonderful. So like, this is a great way to spend a Sunday afternoon. Godfrey Daniels, your next favorite band presents. We're hoping to be able to do this more and more now. And basically taking kind of the spirit of the show where we go and seek and find under the radar artists. But rather than an interview, we're going to put them out there for you to listen to them perform. So Sunday, June 9th, Godfrey Daniels in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, $25 ticket. Show at 4 in the afternoon, so it's a nice Sunday kind of like, not quite matinee, but not late, so you can still get home at a pretty good time. And doors are opening at 3, so a little bit earlier there. It's because it's our 2-year birthday. There's almost to the day, David. So we've been doing this 2 years in June.
We are almost out of diapers.
That's right. That is right. And funny, like, crossover here to move us into the guest. Guest number 1 ever was Mike Maines and the Branches. I'm wearing one of his T-shirts tonight. And the reason why is because I'm starting to, like, we always have a little bit of a running kind of competition between New York bands or Delaware bands on this show. I'm starting to root for Michigan. Michigan has brought us Mike Maines and the Branches.
True.
Reynolds, Patty Pershela and the Mayhaps. Now the American Hotel System. I think I'm missing another one.
I think you're missing somebody too. We have to go back through and put them all on a map.
Yeah, and I mean, so those are some of my all-time favorite bands that we've discovered, and it's like,
who knew that
groundwater in Michigan?
Who knew that it was just this easy?
That's right. Yeah, you just need an oven mitt, and you make great music. That's a joke about the map, in case you're listening to the podcast. Anyway, but the guest tonight is Jacob Betts and Hailey Petty from the American Hotel System. And not only is this amazing music, but what an amazing story of highs and lows. And we're going to get into all of it. But first, as always, we like to bring on some of their music. This is off of an album they released just about 2 years ago. It's live, and as we always like bringing on the live versions of things, a live recording of a song called The Feeling by the American Hotel System.
The American Hotel System is a rock band from Grand Rapids, Michigan that aims to provoke the mind through heartfelt lyrics and intentional musicality. Opening for Bon Jovi in 2022, their powerful sound has resonated with audiences and garnered attention from Relix Magazine, BuzzMusic, CLOUT, and LEVELUP. As two-time Music Prize finalists and grand champions of Music Prize 2022, they stand as a dynamic force pushing the boundaries of contemporary rock. Their latest release, titled Can You Hear It?, an EP, was released in the fall of 2023.
All right, we'll bring this back up and we'll bring Jacob and Hailey on the show. Welcome to the show, Jacob Betts, Hailey Petty, the American Hotel System.
Hello, hello.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Oh, thanks for having us. It's an honor.
The honor is all ours. We're going to let this continue to play here. Let's talk a little bit about this song and this recording and this release from 2 years ago.
Oh, I was just, as you were playing the video, I was just thinking, wow. The date was in there, right?
Yes.
5/27. So that was actually our first performance post-pandemic. And I guess we were in the middle of a pandemic, but that was our first performance as a band after, I think, February of 2020.
Yeah.
And that was a live stream that we did. That's taken from a live stream we did that about 2,000 people tuned in live to watch, which was crazy. And we turned it into a live record. It was recorded by our friends Dogtown Studio, our friends Robbie and Tito, great guys, and mixed by our friend Zach Rumley. And that song has gone far and wide with us.
Sure.
Especially with me. I wrote it in the jungle in Belize.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Did not have that on my bingo card.
Wrote it in the middle of the jungle.
Does, though.
I'm a videographer, and I was down in Belize shooting video for a big project, and the group I was with went ziplining.
Mm-hmm.
And I am not I don't have a ziplining body, so I said, I got this. I'm going to hang back. I'm going to have some nachos. Don't worry. And I went and I sat beneath a coconut tree in the middle of the Belizean rainforest and looked up and saw the sky. It was beautiful. The clouds were all wispy and breaking up and moving fast, and the sun was coming through. And I was like, oh, this is so serene.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could feel this all the time.
Sure.
But I have to fly back to cold Michigan. This is in the winter, by the way. I have to fly back to cold Michigan tomorrow, and I want this feeling to last. And so I just
jungles,
wrote,
no coconut trees.
Right. No coconut trees, no rum punch on the beach or whatever. And I just wanted to have, I wanted to capture the feeling of, no pun intended, of not wanting to let go of the moment.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
But the reality is, life moves on, and we're all spinning forward with the world. That was 7 years ago. And boy, that song has grown to mean so much more for us.
Imagine,
That was the first song we played when we had the absolute privilege of opening for Bon Jovi. And we play that at every single show we play.
And I think it has, it obviously even has that kind of meaning right there in the first show after not playing together for basically a year and a half. So it's so perfect for that microcosm of that moment too.
Yeah, that record is called Where My Soul Has Been, which is taken from the chorus of The Feeling. And we thought, you know what? Because that song was released as it's the opening track of our first record. And I went, oh, you know what? This has a whole new meaning now.
Mm-hmm.
We need to open this live stream. And then we had a full recording, and we turned it into a live record. And we went, oh, hey, let's put it out as a live record, and let's call it Where My Soul Has Been. Because it once again recontextualized that song and the meaning it has for all of us. And we'll be playing that for years, I think. I don't see us ever dropping that from the set list just because it's so special to us.
Certainly not. Right. And we're getting some good comments here. So far, we've got a wow. So for those of you tuning in, let us know what you're thinking. If you have questions for the band, just let us know. But wanted to point out that if you're impressed by the lush sound of what that is, if this is the first time you're listening, and if you happen to not be watching, because again, the people might be tuned in on the podcast and only listening, there's 3 guitarists, and so that's one of the reasons why you can get that really, really lush sound of basically layering 3 guitars in there with the bass and the drums. What made you kind of jump in that direction of having that be part of the live show?
Oh, I've always been a big fan of layered guitars.
Yeah.
And no matter how many times we say, okay, we're just going to have one guitar track on this song. And it never happens because CT is usually like, hey, throw another one on there. I have a quick harmony to put on. Oh, hey, what if we did the split stereo part? It layers up, and we're
we'll
big
do this
fans.
muted part in the background that'll add this
Yeah,
cool sort of texture.
exactly.
Yeah.
You go through. I have a small recording studio at my house, and so you get all the plugins, you get all the soundscapes, and you just find sounds and go, oh, well, now I have to use that in a song,
Yeah. Thanks a lot, CT.
Yeah, exactly. So.
What you need to wait for is your bass player to be like, who needs multiple tracks?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, David's a bass player, so that's why he always likes jumping on that. Or you need 2 drummers. Well, Hailey, you are certainly keeping up with all of that guitarist. Like, you are not being pushed to the background by any means.
Oh, thank you. I try.
Yeah, absolutely.
The stuff she whips out live is just never ceases to amaze me, because Hailey's an absolute beast of a drummer.
Totally.
But I feel like on all of our recordings, you're really restrained in like a serve the song kind of way.
Yeah.
And then we go live, and every single set, there's a moment where we're playing something.
Something just possesses me.
I don't know what happened.
That's awesome.
It's crazy, like a perfect fill. And we like normally look back at it. Yeah.
I just do it.
Fantastic.
I honestly just do it for their validation at the end of the day.
Oh, that's why.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, and it's true. Like, I think all of you bring a different energy to the live show, which is why, I always love to use a live recording for this show, because David and I are often trying to bring, go to the live show, support the artists. And then obviously with that, you have to be that good in person as well as the recording. So love the recorded stuff, of course, but I'm a fan of live performances, and when it has that extra take it to 11 kind of energy, I'm all in. So that's totally what you guys are, and so wanted to use a live recording there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We lots of good. I'm going to keep bringing these in here for you guys to see. Kimberly says she's pretty amazing on the drums.
Hey, Kim.
Thanks,
and then
man.
Chris is saying, Jacob and Hailey, y'all are awesome.
Chris, love you, buddy. Hey, man.
And then someone says, Jacob's the man. Steven. So, yeah, keep the comments coming. Let us know if there's anything in particular you want to talk about. But kind of wanted to start here, actually, not all the way back, because we've got both of you here on the show.
Yeah.
You guys met in middle school. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were, 12?
Yeah, I think I was just learning how to play guitar, and I was really, I don't play guitar, obviously, struggling in the back. And Jacob walked up to me and offered to help me.
Yeah, I think we were at a, our churches had a leadership training thing, and we were both selected to be part of this youth program that we were a part of, and I was the music guy that weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And Hailey was like plucking along on guitar, and I went, "Hey, you play?" And she said, "No, I used to, but I used to, but I stopped, and now I'm trying to relearn it." And I said, "You should play. You should do it."
Yeah.
And I think we were playing music together by the end of that weekend.
Yeah.
You and Heather and myself.
We had built at his home after that weekend, built this little foam box to put a microphone, and we were getting real DIY with it.
Yeah, my grandma,
we named it something.
We named it the Mictron 6000.
Yeah,
or something
like that.
Mike Shield 6000.
It sounds like it should be a kick pedal name.
We were 12 or 13, and we didn't know anything. I think there's a picture that popped up a few weeks ago that was from when we were 13 or 14 of us recording some demos, and I was holding the microphone in my hand in front of the guitar.
But it's amazing to start there and then basically have stuck together even through college, you guys went to Grace Christian University together
Yeah, we did.
and
We
studied
did.
music. Did you both study music?
Yes.
We did.
Yep.
Yeah. And then did you both double major though? Or...
Yes.
Yes. Yeah,
Nice.
we both double majored.
Wow, there's no slackers here tonight.
No.
There's no slackers here.
Everything goes to 11 here.
Yeah.
So both in music and theology, right?
Yes.
Music and theology, so we're both baristas.
Right. That's the natural progression.
That's
what
the
happens.
Venn diagram where those two things cross over.
We've both worked in specialty coffee. I actually have. That's been a huge career for me. For
Jacob
about the
took
last 10
that to an
years.
11 as well.
Yeah.
Well,
basically.
right. I had that for later, but we might as well chat about it now since it came up. You're a self-proclaimed coffee geek, if I remember.
Yes. Self-proclaimed. Yeah, I definitely.
In fact, even has a Instagram handle, the Concussion Coffee Geek.
The concussed coffee geek. Yeah, I had a really bad TBI like 12 years ago, and or 10 years ago, and it messed me up. I had to go to speech therapy. I had to learn how to be myself again, and through that was also when I discovered I love coffee, and said, I love music. I want to do music, but there's something really attractive about coffee, and I've started working at a little cafe, and then went on to. I've opened 2 or 3 different cafes with other people, and been a trainer, been a director of coffee, run coffee programs at various places, managed a few shops, and it's we've now released a coffee as a band.
Wow,
with
that's
our
cool.
with our friends at Littlefoot Coffee Roasters. That was always a dream.
What was it called? Was it called American Hotel System or named after a song?
It was called "Love Is the Storm We Need," which
Nice.
is from our song "Seattle." So it came out with our record. Yeah,
And that's appropriate because Seattle's so known for coffee too. So
that's where I honeymooned specifically for the coffee.
nailed it. What's your go-to if you're going to order something yourself, or like if you're going to make something yourself?
A mocha, definitely. That's what
Nice.
I find myself going to at my house. I have an espresso bar here, and that's like the band drink, isn't it?
Yeah, I usually get a mocha, maybe a cortado if
Yeah.
I'm not feeling the sweetness. But
If you're like traveling and you want to get a good gauge of a place, we all walk in and we're like, I'd like a cortado as a 1-in-1,
And people get
please, so I can
afraid.
get the espresso and the cortado. And we, you go in, you're really pretentious.
That's amazing.
Uh,
And they must go, seriously?
they go, where do you work? Yeah.
Right, yeah, exactly. Were you hired by my boss?
Yeah. Is Gordon Ramsay somewhere?
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
I guess what I've learned a little bit, because I do enjoy coffee, but not to the level of really knowing anything. But what I've noticed is more than knowing all the different like origins and stuff, just fresher is better, which sounds so dumb to say out loud. But like when you can get something locally roasted that's like less than a couple of months old, it's obviously tastes so much better. But like the stuff that you just get off the rack, normally is like it's so old. Anyway, that's what I've just learned. It's so you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it just seems like the freshness factor is the biggest factor to have it be like this really quality experience.
Well, I'll try not to go into trainer mode, but coffee is really 2 things. It's cellulose and gas. When you roast the cellulose structure, it produces carbon dioxide, and that has a lot of the flavor in it. And so the longer it sits, the more it off-gasses. Even if it's whole bean,
Sure.
it'll off-gas for a long time, and
Right,
then
right.
most of the flavor's gone. So there's a coffee tip that you didn't tune in for. You're here to hear
Yeah, you
music,
didn't
right?
expect that one, but here we are, your next favorite coffee bean.
Yeah.
But all right, so now let's roll it back. Jacob, and I'm glad you mentioned her before. You were very close with your grandparents
Yes.
growing up, and they bought you your first guitar, if I understand it right, at 2 years old.
Yeah. And we're not talking like, a toy guitar. It was a real, like, mini learning guitar.
That's awesome.
And they gave it to me for my birthday, and my parents were like, "What? He's 2, okay." And what is he going to do with that? And
Play guitar.
nobody else in my family is like musical, but they love music. Everybody in my family, huge music fans. I get my love of concerts from my mom. She has
Sure.
stories of camping out with my grandpa on the sidewalk to get tickets, right? When she was a 15 or 16 years old. And so we had a beautiful stereo system in our house. So we'd listen to music all the time. And one day she put on Garth Brooks, and I picked up that guitar and I started mouthing the words to the songs. and I was like 2 or 2.5, and I had a cowboy hat, and so I wanted to be Garth Brooks. And
And you still like you're a big fan of his to this day.
oh, definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're a rock band, and I mostly listen to rock music, but he is wildly inspiring as a performer. I got
Sure.
to see him 3 weeks before everything shut down in 2020. 60,000 people in Ford Field, and you feel like he is singing to you.
His live show is fundamentally a rock show. I mean, he
Oh,
puts on,
it is.
He may be playing country music, but it's fundamentally a rock show. Like, there's
Hugely
nothing about his
inspiring.
that you couldn't just say is that also happened at a Springsteen show. Like, it
Yes.
has that kind of vibe
Sure.
to it, 100%.
Yes, it's that connection that he has, and the ability he has to connect with, tens of thousands of people at once and make you feel like there's a one-on-one thing that I find so inspiring. And I want people to walk away from our shows going, wow, I feel really connected to them. Because I think that's what it is with them.
You could see it in that first song we played where you're looking right in the camera. Like you are winking at people and, you pulling them right into the show, not just the song, the music, but the emotion of it all.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yep.
It's good to hear. Thank you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's quite the showmanship that's going on there. And then, so I mentioned it kind of like before bringing you on, but there's a lot of highs and lows to this story. And so basically right off the top here, again, correct me if I'm wrong on any of this stuff, but your mother gets ill and nearly passes when you're very young, but fights through it. But then your father becomes chronically ill. And through that, where I'm kind of, please share or whatever you're comfortable with over that. But that is where Christian music and the church becomes very important to you to help support your family through that entire time frame. You found it then, like you weren't necessarily a church-going Christian before that all happened, correct?
Oh no, we were.
You were, okay, sorry.
Yeah, so when my mother was sick, I was 4 years old.
Yeah.
And that's she had a very powerful spiritual experience in her recovery, and we started going to my preschool teacher's church. They said, well, we have a great children's program, and that's the church I grew up in. That's where I learned to play guitar. It's my first performance experiences were there. That's the church that we met in, because our churches were part of the same network. And and then that family was there for us when my dad was so sick. And then ultimately he died when I was 16. And the love and community we experienced we had that church I'd moved on from and started worship leading at a different one. Mm-hmm. I was 16 at the time, and they were both just showed up for us. And, our faith is a vital part of our story, right?
Sure.
I can't ignore it as part of the reality of kind of where we've come from and who we are, and it's integral to our lives.
Yeah. And that's the only thing I meant there was like the music and the how that, again, that community helped in this extreme time of need, helped kind of bring that, hope and solace to you during that. And then I think the other element that I wanted to touch on here is there's two parts to this. There's this, you get introduced to Switchfoot, which is a life-changing, and that's a Christian band.
Yes.
But one of the things about their music is they're not the type that's going to say those words that you would expect.
Right.
And that bothered you to start.
It did.
And I wanted you to touch on that because there's this dilemma of Christian music or a musician who's Christian.
Yeah. I was, I think I was like 13 or 14. I knew some of their songs, the ones they play on Christian radio. It's Chris. Yes, Switchfoot. Yeah, Chris is one of my Switchfoot buddies. And so Steven, I think you're on here. Yeah, Steven. So they were at a festival that I was a fan of, and I was like, I can't believe they have this band who's not explicitly a Christian band. I was 13 and thought I was pious,
Sure.
And then my dad died. And I was reading an article. I was reading an article about records that were turning 10 years old, and The Beautiful Letdown was turning 10 years old. It's their 2003 record, and I was reading about it. I went, oh, I know like 3 or 4 of these songs, right? Dare You to Move, Meant to Live. Everyone knows those songs, right? Those are their big hits. And I was reading about the record and some of the deeper songs on it. And I went, oh, interesting. That night, my mom and I were out grocery shopping, and I always like to walk past the $5 CD bin at Walmart. And sitting on top of this CD bin was The Beautiful Letdown. And I picked it up and I went, I feel like I'm supposed to buy this CD, man. Like I was reading about it earlier. Now here it is. Maybe it means something. And we listened to it on the way home. And by the end, the last notes of 24, we were both just weeping, and it hit me. And I went, okay. These are songs about hope, right? Through despair, through pain, wrestling with the hardships in life. Why do these things happen? It's not all sunshine and rainbows all the time, right? And you turn on Christian music stations, and I had a professor that was like, it feels like they're cuddling baby unicorns all day long, right? They just have a big fake smile on their face and they're cuddling baby unicorns. And that's just not reality, And that was kind of my gateway into getting into alt rock, and they're still my favorite band. Hugely inspiring. I really admire their whole thing is that hope deserves an anthem, and they want to play hope into places where you wouldn't really hear it. Encouragement, right? And that's wildly inspiring for us, because all of us have a background as worship leaders in church and all that. But we are very intentionally not a Christian band. That's a very intentional thing. We've had that discussion for many, many, many years of, do we want to just market ourselves? And no, we decidedly don't want to do that.
I heard another thing about that, not to cut you off, but almost to let you have this moment too, because I heard you talk about this and I found it fascinating. You're almost feeling tempted to do it because it would make your music sell more.
Yes.
But then it would feel disingenuous.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I just think it's a noble thing, of course, but it's also a really interesting topic to talk about.
Yeah. We all, 3 of us having gone to Bible college together. I think that was a really great growing up experience for all of us.
Sure.
Because college is, a very tumultuous time for a lot of people. It's a time of change. You're learning, who am I really, for the first time. My dad had died, and then I went, and it was the first time I was away from my family. My whole childhood, through my dad's sickness and all that, my mom and I were always there every single day.
Right.
And then I find myself and your sister, Hailey's an identical twin. And you were there, and Heather wasn't for the first time.
Right.
And you had your own stuff going on with your own medical things and in that journey. And I think for both of us, it was an experience where we went, oh, this is reality. Everything's not just rainbows all the time. It's your music can speak to believers and non-believers. That's one reason it's so great. Thank you, Kim. Yeah, that's what I want. I want everybody to be able to connect and have community. So you go and you learn, and you become perhaps a little cynical. And there was definitely part of some cynicism for me. And also once you get to know, you see behind the scenes and you go, oh, wait a minute. Okay. It's not always very genuine. There's some, I'm not saying all of it, but there's some of it you see behind the scenes and you go, oh, that's disappointing, right? But it's a product, right? You're selling a product. And one of our core values, we have 7 core values as a band. One of our core values is authenticity.
Sure.
And I do not believe I could be authentic trying to force myself into a Christian market just for record sales or to go, easy gigs or whatever. I'm not saying it's not, I'm not, Stephen has a question there. I'll answer that in a little bit.
I can get to that when we get to that point.
We'll get there.
It'll be a perfect question for that. Thank you, Stephen. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so that's, there was a life-changing experience for me
Yeah.
finding that record, and hugely inspiring to us overall.
Mm-hmm.
Haley and I are really into them.
Yeah.
We got to
Well, yeah,
hang out
Haley,
with him a few times.
Let's
Yeah.
have you share, because you've obviously been on this this train with him this whole time, like this, from middle schools through college and forming this band and being a part of it, like, those different elements, whether it is the the music decisions and so on. Like, how has this has this ride been for you?
I guess like the only thing I could think of when I think of the band is that through all the changes that we've experienced, whether it was in college or whether it was personal experiences or struggles, that the band's been the only constant.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the band's evolved, it's been the only constant. And so for me, I guess the journey for me has just been so, it's just the thing I know is always there.
Yep.
And it's
a
so
foundational
reassuring.
rock. Yeah.
Yeah. And, it helps when I'm playing with my best friends. I mean, this is my best friend in the whole world. So, I honestly, when we first started playing together, it was supposed to be a one-off thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, sure. Like, there were a bunch of cover bands happening around our college that were like punk rock cover bands. And I was one of the few girl drummers, and nobody wanted a girl drummer. And so Jacob said,
that stinks.
Come do this with me.
Yeah.
And so it's just been a journey ever since. We couldn't imagine back then what it would be today.
No.
And the only attitude I have with all of it is just absolute gratitude.
That's so cool. That is beautiful. And it's so cool to see it. I mean, like, obviously the people who you are at, what did you say, 13 years old when you met or something like that? Like,
yeah, 12 or 13, something like that.
Yeah, you're such different people at 18 and then at 20. Like, it's just like,
yeah,
the fact that you still have each other's backs is just so cool. Like, it's just, that's the universe working in such beautiful ways. Jacob, I want to roll this back a little bit, only because I thought this was a fun story. One of the ways that you had that guitar at a younger age, didn't quite pick it up, but one of the things that I think worked in your favor was your dad bought Guitar Hero for Christmas one year.
Yeah. Oh man, you did your research, man. Yes. He did. I was 8 or 9, and I remember very distinctly when he first became aware of Guitar Hero.
Sure.
They had it set up in the Christmas, it's the home and garden section that turns into the Christmas decoration section.
Right.
I'm from Houghton Lake, Michigan, small town. Haley's from Grayling. So we have like a Walmart. I don't even think Grayling doesn't have a Walmart, right?
We had a Kmart. It's now a Tractor Supply Co.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. That's how it worked, right? So
that's the direct evolution, I believe, of that at this point.
That's
what we did for fun. We would go to Walmart.
Yeah.
As teenagers. My friend and I would be like, hey, it's 11 o'clock. Are you bored? I'm bored. Let's go to Walmart.
Right, exactly.
So we're there in the home and garden section looking at Christmas decorations, and they had a TV with Guitar Hero set up with the controllers.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was like, oh, man, look at this. This is cool. And it was all the classic rock songs that he grew up with, right? And he really wanted it, is what it was. But it was a good excuse because I had a PlayStation.
That's amazing.
And so I opened it on Christmas morning, and I was like, oh, cool. But we plugged it in and played.
Merry Christmas to you, Dad.
Yeah, Dad.
But that was like you'll have a good time.
Yeah, we bonded over that, and we had the second controller, so we got to play together. And I learned. I mean, those first 3 Guitar Hero games just had all the hits from the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
And that was kind of an education for me in kind of classic rock music and learning to love gear. Because the guitars in that game are real guitar. They're based on real guitars.
That's so true.
And you collect them all and stuff. And I was really attracted to that side of things.
Mm-hmm.
And that inspired me to pick up the actual guitar that I had. And there was a video series on YouTube. It was like how to play the riffs from Guitar Hero.
Oh, perfect.
And I learned, like Sunshine of Your Love, just the opening riff. Couldn't play anything else, but I could play that riff.
Yeah, sure. And that's all that matters at that age.
Didn't know any chords, but I could play Dream On. Right? Yeah, that was huge.
Yeah, that's so cool. And that's such an endearing, I would think, memory of that time.
Oh yeah. So cherished.
Yep.
So in fact, I'm right now, right over there. I'm actually looking at. I can see the headstock of the controller.
Oh, nice.
It hangs on the wall in my basement.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and always will. Just because it was so integral to my story. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, for sure. And then through the struggle of his, battling a chronic illness and then passing away, you didn't write your own music until that moment, correct?
Nope. No, I had never written a song in my life, and Hailey and her sister and I were playing, and I was playing this thing I used to hear with me, that song, remember?
Yeah.
And I would just play that, and it was just a chorus. And one day after me just going through it, Hailey, you said to me, "Who wrote that? What is that?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, I wrote it." And you said, "What? I didn't know you wrote songs." And I said, I don't. I just wrote that. And you said, "Well, we should write some songs." And so I did that. I had 2 songs and you wrote 2 songs. And that was our like demo EP that we made like 20 CDs, 20 or 25 CDs for.
Yep.
That's
You'll never hear me sing ever again.
Yeah.
But back then I did.
There are some people though, they might be watching. I know there's at least 3 people who consistently tune in to anything we do live that have copies of that CD.
Oh,
Still,
someone
showed up to
deep
a show
cuts.
last year and they had one.
and they wanted it signed or something.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Nice. That's so fun.
Oh, yeah.
Like they had like an art print that we did. I was into like lithography, and so we made like a lyric art print, and had that. So we signed that. I was like, "This is weird. We're signing this like 15 years later."
Yeah. And
That's fantastic.
my twin was a part of it, and it was
Yeah.
so strange to realize like that's kind of a moment where the journey split a little bit too. I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is where I'm at," and it's
Yeah.
a little different. So, yeah.
And I think it was born out of therapeutic working through the pain and loss and
Yes.
grief. But it unlocked something. So that it showed you the talent that you had.
Yeah, I didn't write anything else. I wrote those 2 songs, and then I think I really needed, they were very therapeutic in, dealing with his death and the emotions that come with that. And, being in the darkness, trying to aim for the light out of that darkness. And then a year and a half later, I fell and had a traumatic brain injury.
That's where we're going to go to next. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you're like 4 months into your freshman year of college.
Yep.
And you have a traumatic brain injury
Yeah, I couldn't talk, couldn't joke, which is like not me. I was I've always been, very talkative, very outgoing. And I would just sit there and stare at the wall and be fine. And my family was like, "Something's wrong. Like, this is not good." I had to, go to therapy and learn really how to be me again and who I was. And I couldn't speak very well. I would fumble over myself. I would have expressive aphasia. And I started reading a lot and I started writing a lot.
Because that's what you could definitely
That's
do.
what I could do. Right. And I would often just type on my phone. My wife and I had just started dating at the time. And so I would like, if I needed it, if I was trying to talk to her and I would struggle, I would just type it on like a notepad on my phone and show it to her. And I wrote.
Why are you texting me? I'm right here.
I'm literally right next to you. I wrote a song called Vagrant and just had the first verse and chorus. And then the next fall, we had songwriting.
Autumn, not another fall. You already fell.
Autumn. I didn't fall. It was autumn season. The season of autumn.
Right.
Yes, thank you. I had another one. No, that would explain a lot. We had songwriting with our friend. He was our adjunct professor, and he's become a dear friend, Andy Ferris. And I pulled that song out, and I went, I think there's more here. I had time to digest and recover and deal with all of the emotional aspects of not being able to express myself, being a creative person.
Yeah.
Where public speaking was my primary form of communication.
Sure.
Theater, song, singing.
Yep.
Public speaking, and not having that taken away for a time, I think it was painful, but it was really transformative.
Sure.
And I don't think the band would exist without that.
No.
Definitely.
all things happen for a reason, even if it is hardship.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to jump, and maybe you can help us kind of put this in a time frame. So I want to jump to your song 21st.
Yeah.
I think that's another topic to chat about. I'll play the song a little bit here because it also gives people a real sense of your live performance, because this was from our festival here in Bethlehem, Musikfest from last summer. So it's a good kind of a display of all of that. And after a little bit, I'll bring it down and we can talk about the song.
All right.
But anything you would want to do to kind of cue it up?
Yeah, this is one that was written the day before my 21st birthday. So like almost 8 years ago. And it's truer now than it ever has been.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's play it and then we can talk about it.
Yeah.
So here's 21st by the American Hotel System.
The 21st century screams like a ghost of years I've misspent trying to fill up a hole drilled by lonely, prideful sorrow. I'm letting go down from that.
CT on the right side there, right?
Yeah, it is.
I mean, he is like really putting on a clinic on how to play a guitar.
Oh, he's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. The fact that he can jump around and play astonishes me.
And could improve your wardrobe, from what I understand.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, he is a personal stylist.
Yes, I may be reaching out to him.
I think we're rocking some NN07 there. Maybe some brand black. Yeah, he's hooked us up, man.
And so this song wasn't on the playlist, so I didn't know it coming into your set. Like David said, we only usually have about 2 songs per band, because when there's 450 bands, it's at 2 songs a band, it's already like a 28-hour playlist.
Yeah.
So, we had Seattle, and I can't remember what the second one was, but like that's why we were into it. And I sitting there, like I grabbed my phone and happened to catch this one, not knowing what was coming up. I just wanted to capture something. And as I'm recording it, I'm going, there's a lot of pain in this song.
Oh man, yeah.
And I could feel it, and it's beautiful, but you can see that it's something you're really working through. So I wanted you to kind of speak to that a little bit.
Oh man, yeah. I think my greatest burden in this life is definitely pride and selfishness and ego. And a big part of my story, there's that face melting solo. Come on, every time.
Nice.
It kills. I like to play that song just so I can hear him play that solo.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and I kind of reached this crisis point where I had burned so many bridges with people who I disagreed with over little tiny petty things that don't matter. And I wrote that, I'm letting go down from my throne because I'll never know what my life could be in this 21st century. And I was reminded, we live in the 21st century. I was turning 21, and they say it takes 21 days, 3 weeks to form a habit. That's probably some armchair science, but I thought it's kind of coalesced into this moment where I was delivery driver at the time, and I was waiting for an order from P.F. Chang's or something. And I carried a notebook with me, and
Tale as old as time.
Yeah, and I pulled the notebook out and I wrote down the chorus, and Came home and finished the rest of the song later that night. And it's become an anthem for us to sing as a reminder to lift others up in love,
Sure.
to look up instead of down at ourselves. I think culture today, society, technology really sets us up to be isolated. It sets us up to be ego addicts. Social media is perfect at stroking your own ego. Hey, can I post this? And how many likes will I get? How many comments can I get? Being on the stage, seeing photos of yourself playing, like those are all things that are very tempting to fall into that. And that song we sing every night, it's a reminder to let go of that and to love others.
Yeah. No. Thank you for sharing that, because I think it was definitely an important thing to share. And like I said, it's a beautifully difficult song to listen to. Like you can tell the emotion that's in there and how hard that is to overcome that for yourself. Like, I think that was very evident. And I mean, also kind of like, amazing that you can bring it to sing it time and again, this, moving on through it, it's got to still be like this peek around this other person who you were.
Yeah. Oh,
you know
it's
what
definitely.
I mean? Like,
yeah. I think about where I was every time I sing it. I think about where I was and who I was when I wrote it. And when I wrote it, I was thinking about who I wanted to be.
Sure.
And I feel like I'm further down the road towards the man I want to be. I still don't think I'm there.
Yeah.
And I don't think I will be in this life. I think I'm always trying to move forward in excellence and grow. I want to always be growing.
Yep.
But it's definitely a reminder of where we have been, and we've done that song. That was one of our first songs ever. And that's why we re-recorded it on our newest project. It still had some life in it. It had evolved with us too. The original arrangement was acoustic.
Yeah.
And then it was a little more like indie.
I think I was afraid to put drums to it for a while because I didn't quite understand how I would fit into it. For a while. So,
and it's just this like huge rock song now.
Yeah.
So that's part of our journey too, is that song reminds me of just where we've been as a group and where we are now.
But probably metaphorically, that makes a ton of sense, because when it first started out, you weren't meant to be a part of it. But as it grew into what it was supposed to become, then it became time to edit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's probably something to that. I hope some of those people who maybe walked away once upon a time heard this song and came back into your life. But, if not yet, maybe sometime. But so here's the highs and lows. Now we're going to go to a high again.
Okay.
So in 2022, you win probably the greatest titled contest ever. You were the grand champion of music.
Yeah,
I feel like there should be trumpets behind that one. How do you? I mean, like, I am now the grand champion. Anyway, so yeah, there's this contest, over 1,100 bands, and the American Hotel System takes home top prize, and you're the grand champion of music.
Yeah, that's it. We're done.
All downhill from there.
We got a comically large check, and that's all we wanted.
Yeah,
I know. I saw the picture.
Yeah. So, oh man, Prize Fest. I am forever indebted to. We are forever indebted to the lovely people at Prize Fest. It started as a film competition, an indie film competition in Shreveport, Louisiana. Greg Kallenberg is the executive director, and he's a filmmaker. And he had worked in Austin, in LA, and he moved to Shreveport and went, I really want to bring some like South by Southwest vibes to Louisiana, to Western Louisiana, and started Film Prize. And then quickly that evolved to include music. And now it includes fashion. It includes what? Food. Yeah, food, startup, and comedy. I think comedy was a new one in the last 2 years. So we applied in 2021. I don't even remember how. I think it was, I don't know, just the opportunity popped up on like an email one day. And I said, I'll submit a video. We'll see. And I got an email said, hey, congrats, you're in the top 50. I went, oh, cool. And so we had to submit a 15-minute performance. And then they said, hey, you're in the top 30. We went, oh, wow. And they said a week later, hey, you're in the top 20. Now it's going to be voted on via the public. And the top 10 get to come to Shreveport and play this convention and conference and festival. We went, oh, well, there's no way that's going to happen. We were in the top 10, and
it's just an honor to be nominated.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I every time we got that email update, I was like, what? Cool. All right, we'll go with it. The door's opening. We got to step through it. We went down there. It's an awesome 2 days of in the morning. Musicians get to go to roundtable discussion panels.
Fun.
And it's a conference. It's a learning conference with different people from different parts of the music industry, whether it's management side, sync licensing, down to live companies. How do you do the best live show you can? Those types of things. And
sure,
getting to ask the questions from the people who actually do it, right? And then you play at night. And on the second night, they name the top 3. And we got 4th place by half a point.
Wow.
And went, and all the judges, who are lovely, lovely people, they came up to us and said, you guys, here's all the advice we gave you, right? We had 2 days of just feedback. That is really hard to hear. It's brutal, right? Because you're bearing your soul and you go, man, but it's an affront to me. It's not. Right? It's not. They are there to help you. They said, take this advice, reapply next year, try it again. So we came home and we had a heck of a time getting there and coming back. Sure. That's a whole separate story. But
we'll have podcast number 2.
Yeah, episode 2 someday, right? We came back and sat down a few weeks later and said, okay, what do we do? Here. What's your notebook say? What's your notebook say? What are things we can implement? And I think we had a show like two or 3 days later, and we went, let's just try it.
Yeah.
And it was a completely different show. It felt like,
wow.
Yeah, that still, I think, rings in my head as one of my favorite nights ever that we've played. Was that show? Was it the Pyramid Scheme?
Yeah.
Which I love the name of that venue. That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, we're in Grand Rapids. You got Amway here,
someone's making a subtle jab.
Yeah. Their words, not mine.
Right.
Yeah, and we reapplied the next year, and there were even more bands. It was like closer to 2,000.
Wow.
The next year, and yet we, made it into the top 10 again. Went down, and had just another spectacular experience. Reconnecting too. It's great to see people. You make friends.
Yep.
It's like coming back together. And I was convinced when they announced 3rd place. I was like, no, it's not us. It's not us. We can go home. And there's an after party,
right?
To celebrate the winner. And we're going, okay, we have to, because we drove year 2. We flew the first year and got delayed and had to take a bus. And we're driving. And so I'm looking at you. I'm like, okay, we have to leave at 4 a.m. tomorrow. We're going to leave. We're going to shake everybody's hands.
We're just talking logistics at this point about the next day.
We're
like, no clue.
We'll leave at 4, be able to be home by like maybe 10 or 11 p.m. Because it was like an 18-hour drive to back to Grand Rapids. We all have day jobs.
Right.
And
there's coffee to be made.
And there's coffee to be made. And I had a son at that point. He had been born, and he was like 6 or 7 months old. And we're going, okay, all right, yeah, that's the plan. We'll say bye, say hi. Okay, if we get 3rd place, we'll go and then leave. We didn't get 3rd place, and I went, okay, all right, guys, that was cool, great experience. I'm tired, let's leave. And then they announced 1st place, and it was us. and we went, what?
We
went
were
up
so stunned.
Cried.
I didn't know how to move for a second. I was
like, yeah.
I couldn't compute it.
And we went, now we have to go to the party? Okay, cool. All right, let's do it.
We had the best hot dog ever.
Oh, man. This guy was selling $12 hot dogs outside of this club that
we're not really partiers, so
No, and we like there's some people in recovery in the band, so we're like, hey, they're like, we walk in, everyone's like, the American Hotel, so yeah, they have the top 2 VIP lounges rented out for us.
Wow.
Right? It was like something out of a movie, right? It was legitimately out of like a Hollywood film. And they go up, get whatever you want. Drinks are on us. And we went up, and I'm like, hey, can I get a Coke, please? And the bartender goes, yeah, what kind of rum you want in it? And I said, no, just a Coke. I'm fine.
That's amazing.
And they were like, what? And it was just so much fun. Everybody there is so kind and generous with their knowledge and experience and mentorship. And we made just truly some wonderful lifelong friends there. So that's Music Prize. And I encourage any musician who is listening, any independent musician, or if you're a filmmaker or fashion stylist or anything like that, or chef, apply. I think they're still taking applications for 2024. So that's not sponsored. That's just me going support these people, because
sure. No, you're right.
We would not be where we are without them. So when you win for music, you get a $10,000 grant.
Sure.
And that allowed us to produce our record, Can You Hear It? And yeah, we would not be where we are without them.
No, a lot of the judges are still in contact with us and
That's
give
awesome.
us feedback. They're all over the United States and just so helpful. And that's a place that you come out of and you realize I have intentional friends the rest of my life.
Sure. Yeah,
it's great.
definitely.
No, that's so cool. So cool. Well, congrats on that. I mean, of course, it's 2 years ago at this point, but it's still a pretty amazing thing. And I guess is that where the opening for Bon Jovi gets born out of that win, or are those connected in any way, or no?
No. As far as I know, those are completely unrelated, because we actually opened for Bon Jovi before we won Music Prize. So the Bon Jovi thing, he was looking for, in fact, Kimberly, who's watching, Kim tagged, that's CT's aunt.
Right.
She tagged us, our band page.
She does
in
say,
like a radio station.
There
you
CT
go.
is awesome, and I'm not saying that just because he's my nephew.
There you go. Yep, I agree.
Yeah, we all agree on that.
She had tagged us in a comment, our band page, in a comment on Facebook. A radio station or something had posted, that Bon Jovi looking for local bands to open, and it was just a form where you've submitted a video. And I sent a video. There's criteria, it had to be like 3 minutes or under, it had to be original, all this kind of stuff. And so I sent it in like January, and then forgot about it, because they said, hey, you'll be contacted by March. And the day I submitted, the videos would pop up. That's right. You could see who else had submitted. And there was only like 5 other people. And then like a week later, I checked, and it was like 6,000, right? Like videos on there. And I went, all right, well, we're gone. We're done. We're good.
Right.
That was a great thought. My mom had said to me, hey, what's the worst that could happen? I remember telling her, maybe I should apply. I don't know. She said, what's the worst that could happen? Nothing, or you play the biggest show of your life.
That's good mom advice right there.
I've grown up hearing the story of her camping out on the sidewalk in Flint to see Bon Jovi's Slippery When Wet tour, right? And she's like, that would be crazy. That'd be really crazy. And I forgot about it. Okay. So April comes along, and it's a Wednesday night. I'm sitting in my office at my coffee shop job, doing inventory, doing payroll. And I get an email. I thought it was spam.
Of course.
Because it's like, please reply, urgent, congratulations.
From Bon Jovi.
Right. Yes. You've been selected as the opening act for Indianapolis in 5 days.
That's the other whack part about this is like, not only do you get, it's like, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes, 120 hours.
We're picking you up on the way. Like, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like
sound checks this afternoon.
Please sign and execute a contract for every single band member that's like 10 pages long in the next 24 hours. Right.
And wasn't one of your band members on vacation?
Yes. Yes. He was not gone yet, but he was leaving the next day.
Oh, okay.
So he came over and signed, and then he left the next day, and then flew back the morning of the show to Indianapolis.
I was picturing him on the beach somewhere, and you calling me like, "Hey,
call
we're
him.
for Bon Jovi." Like, yeah, real funny guys, and
Yeah.
like throws his phone into the ocean.
That's the opening scene of the heist movie,
You're
right?
exactly. Right.
We're getting the gang together.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and we went the whole time. We were wondering, like, is this like, are we sure? Like, are we sure this is real? They had posted on Instagram, the Bon Jovi band page had tagged us, and then we experienced something we've never experienced before, which is all of the super crazy mega fans that go to every show follow our band page and start liking. He has like Swiftie level fans.
Of course. Right.
And I went, oh, I need to make my personal Instagram private. There's pictures of my, family on there, like all this stuff. Yeah, so we pull up and we have our SUV and the minivan. We pull up to Gainbridge Fieldhouse, which is in the middle of Indianapolis. You have to go in a tunnel to go down below the venue to load in. And security stops us.
Of course.
And they go, whoa. Like, who are you? What are you doing? And we say, hey, we're the opening band.
We're the American Hotel
We have no credentials.
Don't you know?
You've never heard of us before? Come on. And they had to go and radio somebody and make a phone call, and then they're like, all right, you're good. And we're like, yes, we're in.
Well, I looked extra suspicious because I hopped out of a different car
to
our bass player's front seat full of gear, and I'm in the fetal position on top of all this gear.
Yeah.
And they're looking at me and they're like, who are you? And I'm like, I'm the drummer.
Yeah. Yeah. We got in and the crew was there and the Live Nation rep was there. He was from Grand Rapids and wanted to meet us, and everyone was just so kind. It is a well-oiled machine. There's 300 and some odd people on the crew that travel every date, and everything has to move just with, to perfection, and it does. Sure. And it was a beautiful, beautiful thing to see. And they had, of all the people who have a reason to not care at all about a local indie rock band, right?
Sure.
Like, they didn't have to treat us well at all. And they were just so kind.
That is awesome to hear.
Yeah, it was an amazing experience. And I still think about it. We have a recording of it. And I'll see that pop up if I'm on our YouTube channel or something and go, I still can't believe that happened. Forever grateful, really. Yes. Forever grateful.
Do you have a Bon Jovi cover song in your set? Like, that would be such a cool, like, little homage.
No, I can't sing as high as he can.
Well, not many people.
Not many people can.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it was a great experience, and that was like, man, 9 days. So 9 days after that, here's a low. That was a high. Here's a low.
Right. This is like a 2-week span. Like,
crazy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, so I'm going to back up. 4 days before we opened, we found out we were opening. CT and I won free tickets to see Jack White.
Wow.
And I've never won free tickets to anything. And that was like, oh yeah, we're seeing Jack White. And I said to him, oh, I forget about this. We're sitting there at Van Andel Arena watching this, like, it's the closest thing you'll ever come to experiencing what a rock show in the 70s would have been like.
Sure.
Right? No cell phones allowed. It's beautiful. Beautiful. I said to him, man, wouldn't it be really cool to play an arena? Can you even imagine what it's like to play an arena? We play like 350 cap rooms. I just can't imagine. And that's where the narrator says, little did Jacob know.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the universe was spinning in his favor.
Yeah. And so we opened for Bon Jovi. We all had family members there. It was awesome. So many people came and saw us that I am astonished people drove that far. Friends and family, college professors.
It was my twin sister's first show.
Yeah, that was the first time she ever saw us.
Yeah.
Wow, that's wild.
Amazing, right?
Everything else is just too small scale.
Right, yeah. And now she's never seen a show since. Like,
she comes around every now and then.
She comes in, yeah. Actually, she just saw us in Detroit.
Yeah, she did.
A few months ago. And so 9 days after that, my grandmother dies unexpectedly. She was at the show. It's awesome. Last picture I have of us together is after the show, and her there with me. She was my biggest fan in the world, man.
Sure.
So grateful. And wildly important person to me, as you said earlier. Absolutely devastated that she was gone. Unexpectedly too. I mean, she was older, but it wasn't like she has cancer or she's sick and she's dying. Sure. It was here and then aneurysm, gone. And then 5 days after that, my wife gives birth to our first child. And once just one of the highest experiences ever. And that was exactly 2 weeks after the Bon Jovi show.
Yeah.
And life, I think since then is just, it's been wild. The last 2 years. I mean, can you imagine? I just said to you a few weeks ago.
I think we talk about this on a monthly basis, right?
Yeah.
We never imagined this would turn into what it has.
You called me like a month ago and you were like, I was just thinking, we had just got a show opportunity or something. And you were like, man, I was just thinking like, can you imagine if we like went to one of our acoustic gigs in the past and went, hey, we're from the future. You're going to be playing shows all the time someday and have like a record and a distribution deal. And like, what are you talking about?
Well, the story is just incredible.
It's amazing.
Yeah. But there's a couple other things to get to, but why don't we get to some music?
Yeah.
You've been kind enough you've got your axe in your hand. We've got a cajon ready to be part of the percussion. So we're going to come off the screen here. You've been kind enough to say you'll play 2 songs, one of them being Seattle, which we mentioned before.
Yes.
Can't wait to hear all this. So we'll come off and the stage is yours.
All righty. Are you getting that guitar? I want to make sure.
Yep,
right.
We can hear it. It may just be, you may want to take it down a little bit, just so that we don't hear so the vocals don't go out.
Okay. There we go. All right. Yeah, this is a song that's going to be a year old on Sunday, which is also my 6th wedding anniversary. Weird how that works, right? It's called Seattle. I honeymooned in Seattle. It came out on my anniversary last year. Crazy. This is one of our favorite songs to play, and we believe that love is the answer, and we need more love in this life, and love is the storm we need. So this song is called Seattle. And take me back to the garden where my heart wasn't guarded, and we whispered under the stars, and the clouds came to cover and took away the colors we had both claimed as ours. Open up the skies, open up my eyes to sow these seeds. This is my time to grow, so give me a chance to see fire inside my lungs, so love in there we breathe. Won't you quake the ground and we fall down? We're calling out to be free. Come on, shake the clouds and let it rain down. Love is the storm we need. Then let's go back to Seattle, where love was like a battle, charging hard on the satellite. I wanna live a life and settle, clinging firm to the nettle when the winds try to deepen the lights. Open up the skies, open up my eyes to sow these seeds. This is my time to grow, so give me a chance to see the fire inside my lungs, so love in there we breathe. Won't you quake the ground and we fall down, calling out to be free. Come on, shake the clouds and let it rain down. Love is the storm we need. Well, did we jump the gun because we were young? We could treat our love like a hit and run. Is this our time? See, we've just begun. Cause this is my time to grow. So open my eyes to see. Let's pour out all our love and soak in everything. Cause this is my time to grow.
So give me a chance to see fire inside my lungs. So love and there we be. Won't you break the ground when I fall down? I'm calling out to be free. Come on, shake the clouds and let it rain down. 'Cause love is the storm we need.
Yeah, that's Seattle. It's twice in a row now we've played that song just acoustically. Yeah.
Yeah, usually it's some droning toms.
There's a really sick guitar breakdown that CT does in the bridge that I cannot do alone. So you have to listen to the record for that one.
Well, we'll just let you go right into the second one. We wanted to come on and give you some applause, though.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
You know, there's the phrase, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. I think that is so wrong. I think words are powerful tools that I've been trusted with to use to build other people up instead of tearing them down. I'm yet to meet a person who has not been hurt and deeply impacted by somebody else's words. And I am a master at using words to tear other people down. So this song is a reminder to myself to use my words to lift others up always. It's called Fire.
I've heard the pen swing harder than the swords. We fight with words in this war. If there's a match, it ignites with a flash, consuming my heart with a roar. And words are the flames that burn in our lungs, consuming us all in their song. And they say fire will heal me, fire will cleanse me, fire will turn things around. But this fire is hurting, making me dirty. Fire is burning me down. But I've heard the pens cut deeper than knives, the tools we abuse in this life. A heart that's ablaze will keep singing the rage. It thinks it can tell you who's right. The flame that takes all is my judgment call. It lights as my gavel falls. And they say fire will heal me, fire will cleanse me, fire will turn things around. But this fire is hurting, making me dirty. Fire is burning me down. Yeah, yeah. As long as I've lived, I've used notes as a ship to stoke flames with eyes to the floor. So love help me see what my life could be when I look up instead of ignore. And they say fire will heal me, fire will cleanse me, fire will turn things around. But this fire is hurting, making me dirty. Fire is burning me down. I've heard the pen swing harder than swords. We fight with words in this war.
Got some people out there voting for it as their
Thank
favorite
you.
song.
Thank you.
Wonderful. That sounded amazing. Thank you for playing 2 songs.
Oh, thank you for letting us.
Oh,
play
thank
songs.
you.
So yeah, but just love the sound, whether it's acoustic or the rock versions of things. It's just really, and no surprise that you're out there winning grand champions of music. But wanted to get to a couple of quick, fun little details before we kind of promote some stuff and wrap things up. But we already mentioned the Coffee Geek, so the people can kind of check out your coffee channel, if you will. Not only did you find reading after the traumatic brain injury, but you're a speed reader.
Yeah, yes, that's my superhero origin story.
There you go. And then we mentioned the anniversary and the honeymoon to Seattle and stuff, but I did hear that you had so we mentioned video games earlier. That stuck through with you because from what I understand, you play video games as your break. Like that's the one way that you kind of like detach from all that stuff, which is it's a great way to do that. And kind of you and your girlfriend at the time, now wife, kind of bonded through that and even had a Fallout themed wedding reception.
Man, these are awesome. This is like the questions are just so well researched. Yes, we did have a Fallout themed.
How does that topic come up?
It was her idea.
That's amazing.
He's like, I know I've made the right choice.
Like
that was
I don't even. Yeah, duh. Absolutely. Right. Yeah, it was done with class. Because you say if you had a Fallout themed wedding, people go, "Did you like dress up as vault dwellers or what? like what? Did you walk down with Pit Boys on you? Did you give each other Pit Boys as your instead of a ring?" It was just our reception, and it was the centerpieces, and we had little Nuka-Colas as our our party favor. We went to like a brewing supply store and got bottles, and I had actual bottle caps that I ripped from the game, the file, like the artwork file, and it was so much fun. So people who were into it, they were like, "This is cool," and then people who had no idea were like, "Oh, it's like a 1950s rusty thing." Like,
kind of weird, but I'm into it.
It's like the 50s, but trash. I don't get it. Yeah, and so we had a Fallout themed wedding, and then we took an entire day of our honeymoon. We were there for 10 days in Seattle, and we took an entire day off of going to Mount Rainier and going to different coffee shops and seeing the nature, Pike's Place, to watch the E3 video game conference, like the press conferences where they announce stuff.
Right.
Yeah, we got a huge pizza and stayed there all day and just watched the press conference.
That's so fun. That like if you're both into something, that's beautiful.
Oh yeah,
that's amazing.
She was into reading and I was into video games when we met. And we've like flipped where I now read every single day. And I can't stop now, right? I'm like, I have to have a record to keep up here. Right. And my wife, she plays games. Like that's her go-to relaxation. But I have intentionally in the last year, one of my New Year's resolutions this year was to play more video games because I don't do it enough. I used to do it all the time, and it was such
especially if it's your break.
Like if when you work from home. So I'm a videographer full time. I do music full time now, and it's really hard when you can work from your laptop to turn it off, right, and have work-life balance. And one of my best friends, his name's Tim. Shout out to Tim. You're probably not watching, but I love you.
We'll send you the link.
I'll send you the link. Yeah. He graciously gave me a beautiful brand new gaming PC last year that he had made for a girl, and they broke up. And and he was like, "You know what, buddy? I'm sick of telling you to get a PC. Here you go." And it was souped up. I mean, it was crazy.
That's awesome.
And so it sits next to my bed. I have a desk next to my bed. I have a gaming setup there with a chair and everything.
Yep.
And I try to do that every now and then to relax.
I'm a couple episodes in, so no spoilers. But to the Fallout show that's out right now, it's
Masterpiece.
yeah, really enjoyable. I thought that was very, very good. And since you like Seattle so much, did you play Last of Us 2?
I haven't played part 2. No,
Okay. So 2 is mostly based in Seattle, and
Really?
it's amazing how real. Like if you've ever been in the downtown city, you're like, oh
Yeah.
my god, I feel like I'm there right now.
Oh, I have to see. I only have a PS3
Uh-huh.
that was given to me because
Sure.
my friend was like, "You need to play The Last of Us."
Agreed. No, I would totally think that's a smart move. But
Yeah, here's my PS3. So
yeah.
I need to get a PS4 or 5, right, and play
Yep.
that.
When's that Twitch stream? We are on Twitch.
Boy. So Steven is referencing like 3 years ago.
Oh, okay.
We were going to start a Twitch channel where we did music and then also played video games.
Sure.
Because CT is also an Xbox gamer.
Oh, nice.
And we never did it. So
well, you can borrow
that's
ours.
What he's referencing.
We're on Twitch, so you can just play music and
There we
then
go.
play games.
There we go. Yeah.
That would actually be a fun thing, like bringing on musicians to play games. But yeah, definitely wanted to touch on that. I thought that was some really fun tidbits of information. Okay, so what can we promote for you? I know there's music that just came out recently, and then there's shows that we can talk about and sling some merch, perhaps. I'll bring up your site while you chat.
Oh, hey, all right. Yes. There is a new website coming very soon.
Well, here's the old one.
I was just working on it today. That's still up to date. That's still new. But I was just working on a new one today.
Nice.
Yeah, so our record, Can You Hear It, came out in November.
Here it is.
And there it is, right there. Can you hear it?
And yes, you can. You can stream it. You can purchase it. You can, yeah.
We have it on vinyl, and there's a limited number of those. I think we're down to about 40 left in the whole world.
Gotta get on that.
So yeah, you can get that on vinyl. That was a big goal of ours was to have a record on vinyl. You know, I feel like
here's the shop. We can show you.
There it is. You can still get the coffee on there too. You can get a bundle with the vinyl and the coffee. Come on, they go hand in hand,
what a great
right?
Deal.
Yeah, they go hand in hand. So,
and a pin. I need a pin. It's a sweet logo. Whoever did the logo is great.
Thank you very much.
Oh, it's a hipster bundle. Even funnier. Vinyl and coffee.
Yep. Yep.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So that record is I'm so proud of it. I would say it's the creative thing I'm most proud of in my life for sure. That's the first time we'd had this conversation. It's the first time we've made something and we went back and there's not a thing we would do differently.
Right.
Oh, that's a cool feeling.
Yeah, absolutely none of that I would change. The whole experience of making it was produced by Jake Rye, social recording company, dear friend. He has become over the years. We have a whole bunch of shows coming up. You can see him there on the website, including you're wearing a Mike Mains and the Branches shirt.
Yeah, there we are.
Yeah, we're playing with Mike in August. Very excited for that. Mike's a great guy. He's become a friend in the last year, and we're really psyched to finally play together.
He must be. So he's playing Musikfest on the 8th of August.
He is. Yep.
So he's going to play this show and probably jump right in the car.
I think it's here and then Cleveland maybe or Detroit.
Right.
And then he's heading
and then Bethlehem.
To Bethlehem, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's funny.
Yeah, we got lots more shows coming too that aren't on there yet. And a few projects. We're hitting the studio next month to do some pretty cool content that I'm excited for to share. That'll come out later this year.
Nice.
And there's a song that we have that's not out that I don't know when it's going to come out, but that'll be this year too.
That's a nice little teaser right there. So watch, stay tuned on the socials.
Yeah, watch this space.
Yeah.
Watch this space.
Yes.
Instagram's where we're most active. If you want to stay up to the most date, up to the most date, stay the most up to date.
I kind of liked the
tomato.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway,
Anyway,
with it. Yeah.
If you wanna,
it was Yoda-esque, but it worked.
Yeah. The most up to date you must stay. You can follow us on Instagram. That's where we're going to post probably first.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you again so much, Jacob and Hailey, for joining us tonight, for sharing such wonderful stories, playing beautiful music, and just being able to kind of join in this story. So thank you so much for being here.
It's an honor. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you for tuning in, everybody who has listened live, and thank you to everybody who's listening after it's been posted. If you listen to the podcast, thank you so much. Once again, we're the American Hotel System.
Absolutely.
You can find us most anywhere, and we would love if you're digging what you're hearing. If you resonate with any of the stories, I would love to hear your story. Send us a DM. Follow us and join the community, join the conversation.
Come talk to us after your show too.
Yeah, come talk to us after a show. I think we spoke after our set at Musikfest there, and that's probably my favorite part of playing live is post show. Yeah, hanging out with people.
Yeah.
So,
and people should stick around for post credits. We always play one more song. We're gonna play "Loyalty." Yeah, the black and white version.
Hey, so this is a reason to stick around.
Set it up. Yeah,
that video is what got us into Music Prize.
Oh, cool.
That video.
I didn't even know that. Well, I'll pretend like I did. Yeah, I knew all that.
That's the one that John Bon Jovi himself watched and selected us.
Wow.
And this is another. I said we're forever in debt to Prize Fest, but our friends at Dogtown, Robbie and Tito, truly check out their sessions. Dogtown Studio, they post live video sessions every week. They are, no one else does it better than them that I'm aware of.
That's so cool.
And we would not be where we are in the band we are without them.
Quite literally, from this
Seriously.
one. This one opened 2 doors for you massively.
Yes,
so.
yes.
How cool. Well, thank you for that. That's a great setup. Now people have to stick around for
That's
it.
right.
All right. Thank you again, Jacob, Hailey. Thank you so much. David.
Philip.
Now it's a big David and a little Philip. The American Hotel System.
Amazing.
Crushing.
Yeah, that was a great conversation.
Oh, it was so good. And just as, we were kind of doing the research, I was just like, whoa, not only amazing things, but like we talked about, like very high highs, very low lows, and everything in between. And, I just always admire, when the musician is vulnerable and brave enough to allow us to kind of go there and hear those stories.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the human condition we all sort of are burdened with can be shared or it can be hidden, and it's nice to see somebody shine the light on it.
Yeah, totally. And so where does your fandom stick now? So like you were somewhere around here listening to the playlist for Musikfest, went up a little bit higher, and now after tonight's interview, where were you? Where are you at?
We're way up there. I mean, these are great people, right? Exactly. Let alone the music.
All right, Phil, let's say goodbye to everybody.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Your Next Favorite Band. We would like to sincerely thank Jacob Betts and Hailey Petty of the American Hotel System for sharing these incredible stories, allowing us to play the music and performing 2 songs that were just terrific. It sounded amazing. Thank you again for all of that. We'll be sharing links in the show notes and on the socials and on our website page for this interview so that you can click and link to any of the different elements of the conversations we had tonight. Definitely give them a follow and stay tuned for, like they teased, some new singles and some new music coming out later this year. And if you're anywhere near their performance dates, definitely check them out. Their live show is not to be missed. As always, our hope here is to bring you your next favorite band. If you happen to already know the American Hotel System and tuned in, thank you so much. We hope that you liked what you heard and what you saw so that you might give us a follow and a subscription to be able to allow us to bring you your next favorite band in the coming weeks. Or perhaps your next favorite band might already be out there at nextfaveband.com. All of our interviews are there to be pulled up on demand, either the video version or the podcast version. And if you're like me and now rooting for Team Michigan, like we said, Mike Maines, Patty Pershela, the Accidentals, they're all out there as well. So you just, if you need help finding them, just let us know. Lots of great stuff coming up here. We've got a special bonus episode next week that talks about all the great festivals and concerts from the summer, plus Mike Roy, who's going to be on our 6-9 lineup. And we hope to see you at any one of these live shows soon. And like we said, stay tuned now for the door-opening song, Loyalty, that really brought them the ability to kind of go win the contest and be able to open for Bon Jovi. So here's Loyalty by the American Hotel System.
Where can I find erased by the self in this postmodern time? Eyes off the brother and stuck to the prize of this commune of self where culture will die. Comes at a price. You pay less in love, it's the sacrifice. You find yourself lonely and seeking advice in this commune of self where culture will die. Disagree. Well, I'm fighting corpses and coughing of pride. This commune of self where culture will die. It's a season of selfishness for you to decide to tone down the ego and step down beside. We'll gladly enjoy it before you backslide in this commune of self where culture will die. Stages and altar you push it aside, so you keep on dancing to self-glorifying this commune of self where culture will die.